Hello, my name is Reagan Sames. I am a junior at a private Christian school of about 250 students. Towards the beginning of the year, I have learned that not only can drug use affect the person that's using the drugs, but can also affect the people that are around you. At the beginning of the year, there was about half of a dozen new students to come into our school, and one of them ended up selling drugs to younger and older students. One day, a boy came out of the bathroom, pale, sweating, and ended up falling to the ground. A bunch of teachers came by along with the sheriff that stays at our school, and they ended up having to administer Narcan and calling the EMS. By the end of it, the student was so scared, and the story quickly came through the whole school about how multiple teams knew about it but decided not to say anything and stay quiet. And someone could have easily died, but if someone would have just spoken up, the issue never would have happened. Today I'm talking about how you can avoid drug use. Drug use in 8th grade went up 30% from 2016 to 2020, and pulling data, 36.8% of 12th graders have misused drugs at least once. By 12th grade, 36.7% of teens have tried drugs. Substance disorders touched 29.7 million in your age globally in 2021. Today I'm talking about how to stop the global issue. First way to prevent it is just by the awareness in the school and the families around you. The number of teenagers at high school by graduations, most teens have either tried drugs, used drugs, gotten addicted to drugs, or even overdosed by the time they are either in middle school or high school. Most families don't realize their kids are in drugs until it's too late. Of teens between the age of 14 and 18, there have been over 700 overdoses since 2020. 700 overdoses. Of these, 74 to 86% of overdoses end up in death. Part of the awareness is just by the guardians talking to their teenagers and behavior. And the studies in Brazil show that the drug use, mostly in males of 51%, have 1 to 2 times higher minimum wage. The second way to decrease this is by being able to get the drugs. Sadly, over 58% of teens get their drugs by a legal guardian or a family member that is unaware that the drugs have been taken. Some families' drugs are not tolerated, but some families have them just laying around instead of locked up. This way is the rest of the drugs are the friends of the older people, or in order for the people to get the drugs, they steal it from older parents, siblings, or just any friend that has drugs. The third way to decrease drugs is by having dog checks in school, where a dog comes in, police dog comes in, and they search their school. You don't do it regularly so that the students can't expect it and hide the drugs, but you have it enough to where these kids know that it's there and know that it can come in any time so that they do not bring their drugs into school property. By the study of Brazil, articles have talked about having programs to prevent drug use, for example, supporting professional, critical legislative activities if teens more involved and less time for themselves with more supervision. In conclusion, in 2023, 5,926 Americans aged 15 to 24 years old died of an overdose of illicit drug use. The drugs continue to increase each year. If we saw in a small school of just 250 students, where I am at, can only imagine the other schools around the world that have almost 1,000 students or more, even colleges. This is a very scary event that has changed my life. And the fact that one of your friends can easily die just by having bad influences around them. To get rid of drugs altogether, we can protect our families, our friends, and just to recap, the ways to increase awareness to my home, not in using adults, but beginning to just be aware of what the teens are doing and to know how they're spending their money, how to increase the activities within the school itself so that your teens do not have time, not just time, but cannot put effort into buying drugs and using their drugs.